Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis and welcome back to another video. Now, it's a little blue, but we are moving over to the coral cutting bench where I keep my supplements, and that's what we're going to answer in this video is what all supplements am I dosing the 300 gallon and how much of them. Now, this is going to apply when it was actually looking good, and now that I'm resetting it, just the quantities are going to be different. And on top of that, basically dosing the same stuff from back when I had the 125. I have made a couple adjustments and changes, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Now, Axel is a little warm, so he's laying on the floor. But either way, let's go ahead and move over to the bench. Now, I do have to fix this saw. I messed up the wheel bearing, so I got to replace that. But anyway, so this is my list of products. Now, the only one that really requires refrigeration is the Aqua Fuel, which is my multivitamin. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with that. Now, this is something that I started using when I first set up the 300 gallon. If you guys remember, in the 125, I used to use something called Reef Plus. Now, it's basically the same thing. This just has a little more to it and a little bit higher quantities of what I'm looking for. Basically, this covers a lot of the, let's see if I can get this on video, a lot of the minor elements here. Of course, I'm always doing ICP tests every 3 to 5 months at this point just to double check some of these. But either way, this has worked out pretty well. And again, I need to stress that when we talk about quantities here of how much I'm dosing, it's going to be different for your tank. So you need to read the directions and do it for your specific amount. You don't want to be dosing what I have for 500 gallons worth of water opposed to your, your 55 gallons. Just keep that in mind. Now, when it comes to dosing this stuff, I do it twice a week. I do 100 milliliters twice a week, which is a little bit below what they recommend. But again, I don't have a ton of coral here. My ICP tests are showing up with my levels being relatively good. So it's been working out pretty well. It's not that expensive, I think, at that fish place because I get it locally. It's about maybe $26 to $30, depending. I know that it went up a little bit since everything's been going on, but either way, I do 100 milliliters twice a week. Takes care of that. Now, another thing that I started introducing when I set up this tank was this Aqua seed, which is beneficial bacteria. It just helps balance the bacteria that processes nitrates. So a lot of this stuff, I mean, this was definitely something that I used when I reset the tank and had that rock out for a while. I added a little bit extra of it. But either way, this is something that I dose once a week, and it's about 30 milliliters, again, for 500 gallons. It is below the recommended, but it's just there to help boost the beneficial bacteria to process nitrates. Now, another thing you guys have asked me about a lot is the Acro Power. Now, this is something that I dose, again, twice a week. It's going to be 100 milliliters, usually on a Wednesday and a Sunday, something like that, but it's twice a week. So 200 milliliters total, and this stuff I've noticed a pretty big difference. Now, a lot of people just say it's sugar water. I haven't really dove into everything that's in it, but it works. I definitely noticed more polyp extension, better coloration. The corals just look fluffier and happier, and the growth has obviously been good. If you guys have been following the 300 since the very beginning, it did not take that long at all to grow it out from little bitty frags to full-blown breaking the glass, practically colonies. So this stuff works pretty good. Price on it, I usually buy it a gallon at a time on BRS. It's really not that bad. And if you have a smaller tank, I mean, again, it's still a gallon. What is that, 3,500 milliliters or something? And it's only 200 a week, so it definitely lasts quite a while, and it works out pretty well. The next thing here, which is not that, because that's instant set, I like to dose potassium. I usually use Brightwell potassium. I was working on my own, but I just haven't got around to finishing it yet. But yeah, so I do dose potassium again twice a week, about 30 milliliters. Now, again, this is going to be different just because I do use Ritz. Ritz, isn't that like, yeah, Ritz are chips in Pennsylvania. I use Fritz Blue Box, which definitely has a little bit elevated potassium in it, so I don't have to use as much. But yeah, so 30 milliliters twice a week on that. The next thing I like to use, because I do sell quite a bit of Chaeto and I like it to grow as fast as possible, and of course it does help with uptake on nutrients, is I use Chaeto Grow, again from Brightwell Aquatics. Pretty good stuff. I just have this, it doesn't come in a 1 gallon that I'm aware of, but I do just kind of, when I get it in the biggest container, I just pour it in here because I have the little pump, which is good. That is 100 milliliters twice a week, and again, it's to help promote the growth of the Chaeto, again, because I sell it, and it does help process nutrients, right? So the last thing here that I'm dosing, I think, well, it's almost the last thing, is my Eco Balance from Dr. Tim's. Now, this has a lot of beneficial bacteria to it. It really does help. This stuff, you got to be careful because you can overdose this relatively quickly, so just go a little bit slower. If you are overdosing it, you'll find out quick because you get kind of sliminess in the tank, so just be careful with that. But other than that, it works out pretty good. Again, adding beneficial bacteria to this closed loop system is always good, and that's about 20 milliliters twice a week on that. That's just water for the saw, no worries on that. The last thing here, which I introduced after I had an ICP test that showed low iodine, I went ahead and start to see if I can get it to, if you can see it. All right, so this stuff works out pretty good. Of course, don't go crazy with it. Definitely stay below the recommended and double check with your ICP test. But pretty potent stuff, works out good to keep the iodine leveled. But that's about it when it comes to dosing. Now, you guys know that I make my own fish food. Hey, what's up, Axel? We'll come back over here to the tank. You guys know that I make my own fish food, so I have a lot of good things within that. Just, you know, veggie-wise, good protein sources, just good overall for the fish, and just kind of helps with the tank in general. So definitely a high-quality food is always good to be introducing to your tank. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Other micro elements I'm going to get are going to be from the calcium reactor with it breaking down the coral. You guys know that there's some trace elements that come from that, but that's about it. There's really nothing else going on. Pretty basic stuff. So what's up, dude? You're going to come say bye? What's up? And all right, guys, so I didn't want to drag this video out too long, but that is everything I dosed at 300. And of course, the ICP test that I'm going to do here in the next month will probably tell me to dose a little bit less, given that there is almost no coral in this. And by the way, you guys will get a video on this this week. How many times am I going to say this? Yep, this week. And you guys will see the corals going in, 30-day update, and we'll talk about the tub and all sorts of stuff. But other than that, if you guys want to support the channel, head over to FishOfHex.com. There is a buy 3, get 1 free. So you put 4 in your cart of 3D printed items, and the lowest one will be free. So I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. And yeah, that's about it. Axel, say bye. Say see you later. There goes the camera. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.